Hello and welcome to another dev diary for Imperator Rome. Last week we learned all about the religious changes that are coming with the Archimedes update, and this time there's some more juicy, tasty stuff, so how about we just dive into it and we'll learn about what's coming. So, hello and welcome to another dev diary for the upcoming Archimedes update. Today I'll be talking about a revamp of one of the game's more integral systems, character loyalty, as well as some of the map changes that will be coming in the update. So, reworking character loyalty. Interesting. Let's see how they go with this. Character loyalty, especially for characters with high power base, is one of the most important metrics that exist in the game. It is how we measure whether any given characters are likely to turn on you as a participant in a civil war or stand by you. If characters with high enough power base are disloyal, this will itself kick off a civil war. Currently, loyalty is constantly drifting either upwards or downwards. This means that in most cases, all characters in your country are either headed towards complete blind loyalty to the state or falling into absolute hatred of all things you do. This is obviously not very realistic, as it presents some weird situations where, when playing, where suddenly your entire court is rapidly losing loyalty at once. High Tyranny would do that, I guess. So we got a very early screenshot of how loyalty modifiers might work after the rework. Since this is a work in progress, no number here can be considered final. So what do we got here? Loyalty is currently 80 due to... Oh, okay, so it's just a flat number now. It's not moving in any direction. Okay. So he's a primary heir and a pretender. Well, I mean, like I said, it is an early screenshot, so that shouldn't be there. Shouldn't be both of those things. But yeah, it's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Alright, fair enough. What we want instead is for loyalty to be more individual number, one that is not so uniform and that won't always be in flux. Temporary issues should be able to affect it, but at its base it should consist of things like traits, current ambitions, power, and memories of past slights. To this end, character loyalty is being reworked to be the sum of static modifiers that add or remove loyalty, a system not too dissimilar to loyalty national opinion that a foreign country has of you, or the character opinions that your courtiers have of you in CK2. Got another one here. His loyalty is 79 due to having a base of 75. Power base goes makes him go down by 1. I can't see his power base though, unfortunately. He is a governor though. Family married to the ruler family is +5. That's pretty good. That should be something that you would want to work on. Make sure everyone's, married and stuff. Okay. We'll see how it goes. Like opinions, loyalty modifiers are not always permanent. They can have a duration or a decay, but their impact on a character's loyalty will always be static instead of a change over time. You will at all times be able to see what the loyalty of any character is impacted by and how your actions have affected it. I've got another one here. Loyalty is 88.75 because of power base, not the same faction as the ruler. Okay, that's gonna make things interesting for Rome for sure. Founder? I don't know what that is. Loyalty office gained, so you grant them an office which does go away. Okay, that's rude. The +15 that you generally have for giving somebody an office is now not a static, or it's static but it decays. That's rude. That's very rude. Okay. These changes will mean there should be a fair number of characters that can exist with a loyalty that is not at the extreme points of the scale, and that normal situations should be for characters to have a loyalty rating that is relatively stable over time, only changing when circumstances around them change. We hope this will mean that at any given point you will have characters that are more or less loyal for their own given reasons that you can see, instead of having all characters trend up or down towards the extremes, and that we think will make loyalty a more enjoyable experience to deal with, even if it's something that can break your country. Alright. So we've got some map changes coming as well. So, as is customary for updates to our grand strategy games, we've taken the opportunity to revisit some areas of the map and political setup at the start of the game. One area that I've wanted to revisit ever since the original release is India. As I noted in the original dev diary on the India, The subcontinent has a political and religious history that is every bit as complex as the Mediterranean and Europe. India is also very relevant to the Diadochi and the Greek world, since Alexander's empire extended into the subcontinent and the newly born Mauryan Empire is in conflict with the Seleucid successor state at the start of our game. Western India would also see the rise of another Greek state once the Mauryan influence waned towards the middle of the period covered by the game. So in northern India, one of the main goals when revisiting India has been to take another look at the Mauryan Empire. In 304, the Mauryan Empire's relatively young polity, having expanded from the base in the lower Indus region, it has in short time come to usurp all the lands under the Nanda Empire and relocated its capital to their imperial centre in Paliputra in the northeast. This was not a journey that could be made while retaining total control over all regions conquered. While the Mauryan Empire in time would build a strong state with a sizable bureaucracy and administration, its rapid rise was in part due to gaining support of local powers in the regions on the border between Greek and Indian states in Punjab. Not long ago, this region was ruled by a great number of powerful Indian republics, some of which offered their support to the Mauryans and who had retained great influence within the Mauryan Empire. In other cases, it was more the case that Mauryan advance against Greek forces led to old magnates becoming independent until later subdued by other Mauryan emperors once the wars with the Greeks and the Nandas were over. So this does look very, very different. Number of new independent states such as the Khasa, the Nabhaka, and the Naghapakti. Nailed those translations. Cool. Further west into the Himalayas. The plains of Punjab and Haryana, the Paruva and the Yadhuaya are powerful republican states that are subjects of the Mauryans. Further south, Mahisamandala and Paruva are now represented as tributaries of the Mauryas in northern Deccan region rather than as directly controlled land. Alright. And now on to southern India. It's hard to say what southern India was like with the exactness that we can expect in the north, specifically in 304 BCE. The Tamil country has always been one of the richer and more fertile parts of the subcontinent, and by digging into the history of states such as the Pandyas, Cholas and Anuradhapura, we've been able to give a better picture of the political realities that would have existed around the time that our game portrays. This means that many of the polities which exist in Livy and before have now been broken into smaller states. The island of Lanka is not yet unified entirely under Anuradhapura at the start, and the inland beyond the Pandyas is now under various chiefdoms known as the Sangam literature. Is that literate? Yeah, it is. Such as Kosar and Parambu. Okay. I don't play so much in India, so a lot of this is kind of new to me. Or it would be new even if I looked at the original map. But anyway. Moving on to Eriko Zia and the mountains. The border region where Maurya and Seleucid interests meet was still contested at the start of our game. While Seleucus himself and his son Antiochus had recently spent some time getting the eastern satrapies in line, their hold over the Far East where this conflict takes place is less absolute. The Archimedes update introduces Tiburtius of Eriko Zia as a playable satrap of the Seleucids, together with a locally ruled Gandhara principality controlling the Khyber Pass. Historically, this region would come into Mauryan control shortly after our start, with the Tiburtius becoming a Greek subject ruler under the Mauryan king, a relationship that may have lasted well into Ashoka's reign when Greek Ionas are noted as subjects of the Indian emperor in this region. Even further on, Eriko Zia is one of the regions under Indo-Greek Empire. That was all for today. It was a brief look at what the Archimedes update brings to characters, as well as some of the map and setup updates we have planned. Next week, Arheo will be back talking about things close to his heart. Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, so my thoughts are straight off the bat. The loyalty changes. I felt that, like, as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, static modifiers seem a bit iffy, but at the same time, it still makes, as long as it is more playable, if it plays better, it doesn't matter. And if this plays better, as they're claiming, then it doesn't matter that it's not as organic, let's say, as a trend. I do tend to prefer trending numbers rather than static ones, but like I said, if it plays better, then go for it. We'll have to wait and see how it plays, though. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Fortunately, we can still see that Phrygia is still named Phrygia instead of Antigonid Empire. Eriko Zia is pretty big as well. The map changes. Again, I don't play so much in India, so maybe now is the right time to start. I think the biggest issue I have with India is just the north is so culturally homogenous that Maurya never tends to break up. The only time you ever see Maurya break is when they have a civil war and they become like the Gadrosian Empire. Otherwise, just Maurya just sticks around forever. But yeah, it should be good. It should be good. So I'm interested to know what you guys think. People, especially if you've played a lot in India, I would love to know what you guys think about these map changes. Do you like them? Do you dislike them? Are you excited? Are you going to be playing a bit more in India from now on? I'd love to know. So please do leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And of course, I will be reading them. If you want to keep up to date with all the Imperator Rome news and updates, then stick around, subscribe to the channel, and I will bring you news when I have it. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.